Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is VG. I'm a creative makeup artist, a hairstylist, and yeah, I do a lot of things. So don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment on this video. So this is Anne. I was just installing her wig. Just watch until the end to see how the hair will turn out. But on this video, I'll be doing an extra bridal makeup look. Keep watching, guys. So the first thing I did was trim her eyebrows. They were a bit bushy. Then the next thing I did was wipe off the hair that had fallen off. Then wiped her lid so that I could prepare her eyes for eyeshadow. And I looked away for 2 seconds, see what she was doing to the camera. Girl! The next thing I did was use an eyebrow gel to lay down her eyebrows. I like them flat, okay? So that they could last long. Dry them up like that. So for me, I normally do the eyebrows as the last thing because I end up spoiling them even before the makeup is done. So I prefer doing them as the last thing. So now I was drying them up with loose powder. You can use any kind of powder just to remove the excess oil that is normally on the face. Then the second thing I did was prime the eyes. So normally I will finish the eyes and the eyebrows as the last thing, but for this look the eyeshadow was a bit bright, so I decided to start with the eyes first, then the face, then the eyebrows as the last thing. I used the Legal Pro concealer in the shade Cooltan because it's a bit brighter than her skin tone and it's also good for eyeshadow. You can use a beauty blender or a brush, but for the eyes I feel like a beauty blender blends more than a brush. Also make sure you don't overblend to avoid eyeshadow patches. It's a real thing, by the way, don't overblend. So I was going for a nude cut crease, smokish eye, and for this I started off with the black as a transition shade. So after placing, I used a different brush to blend it out. Blacks can really be tricky, so you have to be very careful. Just use a different brush to blend so that it cannot spread up to where the eyebrows have reached. For the inner corner, I went for a dark brown shade, then blended it out with the black one. At this point, Anne was gone. Like gone. She was asleep. So the next thing was doing the cut crease. And this wasn't the normal cut crease. It had some kind of a shape. I don't know how to call this, but it looked like an eye shape. Yeah, just keep on watching. And I used the same concealer, the Legal concealer in the shade Cooltan. Use a small flat brush for this to avoid a bumpy cut crease. So I noticed on this side the cut crease was a bit bigger than the other side, but I corrected it using a small brush and the black shade. The shade I used for this was a light brown shade. Then I mixed it with a white shade to make it more bright. So for nude shades, you don't have to use a nude eyeshadow palette. You can use a powder palette if you don't have the nude eyeshadow palette, and that's what I was using. For liner, I did the normal liner on the inner corners, but for the outer part of the eye, I blended it out with the black eyeshadow. This is a matte black liner from renette.beauty on Instagram. You can check them out. I love it because it mattifies. It's not shiny like the normal liners we use. Her lashes at this point were brownish, so I took a black eyeshadow and applied it on her lashes for easy lash application. This girl finally woke up. Finally! It was time for face work, so ensure the face is very clean. Then moisturized her lips. The next thing was skin prepping, and I started with a Nivea moisturizer. Make sure you evenly massage the moisturizer on the face. Also, the most important part to moisturize is under the eyes, because I don't apply primer under the eyes to avoid creases. After moisturizing, the next thing is primer. This primer is Rimel Stay Matte Primer, and I love how mattifying it is, especially for oily skin. So notice how I'm avoiding the under eyes, because it can really be mattifying, and once you apply it under the eyes, there'll be so many creases under the eyes. So I try as much as I can to avoid that area. Make sure the primer is dried first before foundation application. Well, look at that shade match. Perfection in it. For foundation, start with the edges first. So blend out the edges, then you can go in after blending out the edges. Also, I prefer using a brush than a beauty blender. I start off with a brush first, then even it out with a beauty blender. Blending it out with a brush makes it fast and easier since the primer is dried out. Then after blending it out with a brush, you can go in with a blender just to even it out, or in case there was a lot applied, it can reduce the amount of foundation applied. Also, for the nose and the forehead, avoid applying too much, because if you apply too much, especially on the forehead, your client will look as if she has a mask on. And for the nose, it will be too heavy, especially if your client sweats or becomes oily. Foundation, I mixed two shades, one from Ebony from Illegal and the other one was from Beauty. I can't remember the shade, but I'll put it in the description box. For cream contour, I used the foundation Ebony from Illegal Cosmetics, and according to my research, cream contours last longer than powder contour. But after cream contour, I'll definitely mattify it with a powder contour. The next thing I did was cream blush, and this was a red shade from Sacha. Just put it above where you contoured to give a lifted face effect. The next thing is highlighting just under her eyes, the bridge of her nose and the mouth area, and the shade I'm using is Fawn from Illegal Cosmetics. For the inner corner, I used a brighter shade, Cooltan from Illegal Cosmetics, just to make the under eyes a bit brighter. For blending, always start with the edges, then go in. And that's what I'm doing, starting out with the edges first, then going in. So for this part, before applying setting powder or any kind of powder, make sure the concealer is blended out evenly to avoid creases. I do the reversal powder application, so I start out with a brighter powder shade, then apply a loose powder after the powder. Have you guys understood that part? It's so hard to explain. I think it's self-explanatory, and it works for me because at the end of the makeup or during the day there are no creases at all. The next thing is powder contour, just to mattify the cream contour that I did earlier. Then followed a red powder blush. The next thing is a loose powder from W7 Cosmetics. I do this to mattify any oily part remaining and also to give that bright under eye effect. The next thing is eyebrows, and I think also this part is self-explanatory, so you guys can just watch and learn a few things. You guys could let me know on the comment section if you'll want a detailed eyebrow tutorial or which part of the makeup will you want a detailed video. So after drawing them, I conceal only the outer part of the eyebrow. I don't conceal the upper part or the inner corner unless it's really necessary. Then after concealing, I mattify it using the same shade powder as the concealer. The next thing is rhinestones, and for the glue I used was a clear dual lash glue. I feel like the rhinestones really complemented the whole look and it gave it just the bridal you are going for. Just wait and see, guys. This is worth the wait. After all that was done, the next thing is lashes, and I like taking the lash glue, apply it where I want the lashes placed, then place the lashes. I feel like this method is very easy for lash application, and once you press the real lashes with the artificial lashes, they last long. They can even go for 2 days. So we went for small subtle lashes, since remember this is a bridal look, so nothing too dramatic. The next thing is a black eye pencil on the lower waterline. Then I blended it out with a brown eyeshadow. So for the lips, I like using a black lip liner because I feel like it gives the lip a filtered effect. Then I'm applying a brown shade. I was going for a nude lip, so I used brown and a shade of nude. After all that was done, I powdered off the loose powder, set her face, then highlighted her face with a shiny highlighter, and we were done. And that was it, guys. She was so happy after seeing herself. She was so excited, you can tell. And if you want a tutorial on this install, just comment in the comment section. And you know what, I got you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment on this video. Till next time, guys. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.